sitting here with Randy Roth, a client that's been working with us for, holy smoke, since we were on Cathedral Square.
Yep, exactly. 16 years.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
So, Randy is the founder and owner of Endeavour Real Estate Development Group. And give me a little pitch of kind of what it is that you guys do.
Sure. So Endeavour is a mission-based development company. And by that, I mean we take on really complex, challenging projects in underserved markets where most developers will never ever sort of venture into. And we put those projects together with stakeholders from the community, and typically we'll put in national retail users or office users. But at the end of the day, the result is a better, improved community.
Yeah.
So that's what we focus on.
And you do a fair amount of work in Oklahoma right now, Oklahoma City specifically, a lot of stuff in Mississippi that I'm aware of. And anyway, so it's fun to watch what you're doing, and it's fun to see these projects come to life and improve communities.
Yeah, I've been in 25 different markets over the last 22 years. This is when I started my company. From little places like Natchez, Mississippi, all the way to Atlanta, New York City. Right now, like you said, we're in Oklahoma. We're doing 2 grocery stores in Oklahoma. We've got a project in Savannah that we're doing for a veterans housing deal. Yeah. So it's rewarding and allows me to see parts of the country that most people don't get to see.
That's awesome. So, you know something, frankly, enough about you. Let's talk about Pete Miller Performance
Yeah,
Group.
that's what I thought we were here for. But I love this part too.
I know.
I love talking about myself.
So what were you struggling with before you started working with our team?
Yeah, well, as you remember, I had a really bad, nasty bike racing accident.
Right.
Prior to that, now looking back at it after having so many years here working with you and your team, the accident was unfortunate, but it really opened up a whole new way for me to look at fitness and how I was training. Prior to the accident, I was a person that felt the only time I was gaining success if I was on my bike for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And a complete endurance athlete mentality. And if I wasn't training that long, that hard, I wasn't making any kind of progress.
Yep, so major accident, back surgeries.
Yeah, so I had a back surgery. After that surgery is when I first came to you guys. I think in the last 16 years, I've probably worked with about 11 different trainers. But I'll tell you this, they all had different approaches, but what I liked about it is that they were all consistent with your philosophy about knowing the body, how it functions properly, how to notice imbalances in movement patterns. And although there might have been 11 different trainers, all of them had that same knowledge base. So the accident, I ended up having 2 surgeries and trained with you guys from surgery 1 to surgery 2. In fact, the day of my second surgery, I was training with Joe prior to my surgery just so I could get another workout in before the surgery. So,
which speaks a little bit to your mentality, which is awesome. But so your aha moment was kind of like these folks understand intrinsically the holistic approach to strength and conditioning, and it's not just sets, reps, and there's a lot to it.
I would say the aha moment for me was recognizing, and I think this is probably true of especially of endurance athletes, is the incredible amount of imbalance that is built into high performance athletes, which I consider myself to be one.
I would agree with that.
And not having that recognition of that imbalance.
Right.
And so you guys working with your team, pointing that out, it all of a sudden became like, shit, like that's so obvious. I should have known that.
Right.
But didn't. And so I would say that that's probably the most significant aha moment that I've had. I mean, the setting of goals, achieving them, those are all things that athletes are really good at.
Yep.
Business people are good at it. I mean, people who are focused are good at. But what we often get lost in that sort of goal-driven piece is just how do we really function and how are we really getting to it? Because there was all sorts of times where I was cheating athletically here to get to those goals and wasn't doing the right pattern. And so I had to sort of reset those goals based on do it the right way. You might not be able to get to 42-inch jump box doing it the right way initially, but you're going to get there if you follow it. Yeah.
And there's we reduce the ceiling and you reduce the chance of injury on your journey to there. So,
right.
And as aging athletes, which we all are, you are.
I'm fitter today than I was 16 years ago.
Which brings up the concept that I was going to make, which is that it's not that you can't do that stuff, you just have to be smarter.
Yeah.
Because you don't have as much bandwidth. At 18, you can be a complete knucklehead, and you've probably got a little more bandwidth.
I haven't learned that lesson yet, so I'm still trying to cram as much into my training as I did when I was 18, 24.
Well, and you spend more time on recovery now, even though I would argue you can spend more time on recovery. But we just got done with an activation session, which is putting energy back into your system.
True.
So you're taking care of yourself. I think you train, a lot.
I do train a lot, but you're right. I think I wouldn't be able to keep the pace up that I do with training if I wasn't doing the activation part of it. That is such a critical piece for me, because I know after our sessions on Fridays, I go into Saturday, Sunday feeling like just absolutely dialed in.
Right.
So my mobility, fluidity, and my movements is 2 inches more on a movement pattern versus how I feel like on a Wednesday, Thursday when it starts to accumulate all the stuff from the week. So yeah, taking care of your body beyond just training is critical.
Yeah. So what would you say? Who is the type of person that would benefit from working with PMPG?
That's a good question, and you popped that one on me late in the
game.
Exactly. I look around your gym and I see similar folks here, all different body types, all different fitness levels, but they all share that one common goal in that they are driven. And so having somebody who's driven, whether it's being the best father, best husband, best business person, best partner, best athlete, sort of that driven personality is what works well here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like to think of it as we train a lot of people that know there's more.
Yeah.
And they're willing to connect with some expert instruction to find that more.
Yeah, yep.
And,
I think that's I like that. I do. It's actually that I just had an aha moment. My second one.
One of many hanging out with me. So, well, Randy, thank you for taking the time to sit down with us.
I appreciate it.
And we'll let you. Are you working today?
Yes, I got to get to work.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
All right.